Hey everyone, it's Jesse Jace. As you know, I get worked up when people get paid to write badly. And one place where you can see people getting paid to write badly is in the pages of the Tokyo Notice Board, which is a free magazine for foreign residents in the greater Tokyo area. Tokyo Notice Board will pay 3,000 yen to anyone whose article they print. And their standards are not high. You got bad writing for me to look at? Let me fix it. This is from Tokyo Notice Board, February 12th, 2021, and our first article is called Tasty Japanese Food. Will want to avoid? Question mark? That's appropriate, because what is this, will want to avoid? Who's Will? Is that a person? Is that William? Well, Olga, what business of yours is William's diet? Before coming to Japan, I was a vegetarian. Oh, I love these stories. These are the best. These kind of stories are the best. A vegan, to be precise. Oh, it's the best, you guys. Okay, let me just tell you a quick story here. A former coworker of mine was a vegan, and he tried to continue being a vegan in Japan for about a year. I don't know, maybe a little longer. The result of that was he got really sick because he wasn't eating enough, because it's actually really difficult to be vegan in Japan. You can't escape animal products in Japan. They are ubiquitous. So he got sick, and his doctor was like, you gotta stop being vegan. And he did. And now he eats meat, and he's happy. So anyway, back to Olga here. A vegan, to be precise, semicolon, and now here I am. Okay, this is a sentence fragment. I mean, you could join it with a semicolon here after vegetarian, but like this, no. Just put a period there. Put it here. Do it like this, and that's your period, and now it's kind of a sentence. And now here I am, stuffing my face with nama choco crepe, cheesecake and a brownie, washing them down with iced matcha latte from Lawson. Now, this is not Olga's fault right here, but Tokyo Notice Board changes fonts whenever they have to use italics, which is weird. So that's why we get iced matcha. But why did she get italics for matcha but not up here for nama choco? Because that's Japanese too. Anyway, whatever. Matcha latte from Lawson. So she's a real foodie, this one. I keep telling myself that they are all tiny and therefore count as one full-fledged dessert. Huh? But deep in my mind, I know that this is very, very bad, and I don't know how to put an end to this. I really don't. Okay, so here's what I feel about the word very. If your writing is so weak and so poor that you need the word very, then your writing is not good and you shouldn't be getting paid for it. And here's two veries right here. Very, very bad. Like, the word very is so empty of meaning. You know what? Just gone. Gone. I keep telling can we go back for a second? I keep telling myself that they are all tiny. Are they tiny? I just had this picture of Olga sitting down with her brownie from Lawson, and it's like the size of a bowling ball. And she's, right before she takes a bite, she says, "It's okay. It's tiny." But now we're gonna hear a little bit about like the origin story of Olga. Of course I stopped being vegan before I actually came to Japan. Of course? I mean, is it of course? I figured you would have stopped being vegan after you came to Japan and started starving. Of course I stopped being vegan before I actually came to Japan, not just because I encountered delicious foods like yakiniku, okonomiyaki, takoyaki, and karaage. Is that really the depth of your veganism? You saw yummy food and decided to stop? Anyway, about 2 years ago, I was happy that I started eating meat, fish, and eggs again. Oh, yeah, that's what happens. It had broadened my horizons, and now I know fancy fish names like Splendid Alfonsino, Kimmedai, and how yummy squid ink fried rice, Ikasumi Chahan, is. For whose benefit are these italicized things in parentheses? Like, if a Japanese person's reading this, writing out Japanese words in Roman letters doesn't help them that much. I don't know. It's just kind of stupid. Like, it's like she's showing off that she knows how to say the thing in Japanese, but it doesn't really help her article. So we are gonna edit that, and it's gone. You don't need it. Okay, on we go. But the real problem is not the carbs, and not even the sodium, which is found in enormous quantities in such supposedly healthy foods as miso, umeboshi, and noodles. Really? They're just noodles. They don't have a lot of sodium unless you put it in there. By the way, right, she says the problem is not the sodium. And then she goes on to say that sodium is a problem by saying supposedly healthy, so that's a problem right there. It is the flavor and the taste enhancer MSG. Oh, yo. Really? Is Olga on that train? The old MSG hate train? That train hasn't run since the 80s. I was taught by my mom that it is a vile substance and we should avoid it at all costs. Okay, well, Olga, I'm afraid maybe your mom was operating on a little bit of old information. I would invite anyone watching this video to Google MSG smear campaign, because the whole case against MSG is tenuous. Like, I'm not one of those Japan apologists who will just go out of his way to defend everything, but MSG is like the least bad thing about Japan. Like, you got so many bigger fish to fry, Olga, especially now that you actually eat fish. On the contrary, Japanese people admire it tremendously and add practically everywhere. Okay, I think maybe you need something right there. Imagine my shock when I found out that glutamate is the reason why umami, one of the basic tastes in Japan, came into existence? Question mark? Let's go back. Imagine my shock. That's a command. A command ending with a question mark is not English. Okay. My Japanese husband firmly believes there is nothing bad about consuming MSG every day, and that it has nothing to do with his blood test results. Ignorance is bliss indeed. Tell me about it, Olga. I was blissful before I started being educated by you. Please don't bring the umami culture to Europe. Okay, again, now my feeling about exclamation points in writing is the same as my feeling about the word very. If your writing is so weak that you need it, there's something wrong with the sentence. Don't put an exclamation mark at the end of a sentence unless you're doing it for comic effect. Otherwise, it just reads like a Trump tweet. I'm aware that glutamate is already used there, but still ... Is this the end of your thought? Is that it? But still, you can't be bothered to... Like, you can't... That's like saying, just saying, during an argument. How lazy. I don't want my family back there to stop loving simple foods and become gourmets like me. Wait, what? I don't want my family back there in Europe to stop loving simple foods and become gourmets like you? Hold it. At the beginning of this story, you told us that you were stuffing your face with a Nama Choco crepe, cheesecake, and brownie from Lawson, which is a convenience store. You're not a gourmet. You're barely even a human. It goes without saying that Japanese people will never become fat, even if they consume all that sugar, carbs, meat, sodium, etc. What? Does it? But take a look at Japanese kids and you won't be that optimistic any longer. What? What is she saying? Are Japanese kids fat? No, not particularly. What is... Huh? Just... What? No. And this part, it goes without saying that Japanese people... Does that mean... Do you mean like Japanese people think it goes without saying? Well, you're not... It's not clear. It's unclear. It's bad writing. It's what it is. For the record, I want to scream every time someone exclaims, Interesting punctuation here, too. Look at this. What's that all about? We got colon. Okay, for the record, I want to scream every time someone exclaims, brackets. Japanese diet is the healthiest in the world. Okay, I hope she's not imitating Japanese syntax there. You need a the. How on earth did you manage to get fat? Brackets. Well, I have a theory, and it all boils down to something you got from Lawson right up here. This right here, this discredits your entire essay. And there you go. That's what we think about Olga Kaneda's work. I give her writing a D. Next we're moving on to this thing called Manly Pursuits by MG. What's MG stand for? Metal Gear. Maybe it's MSG. Probably not. Here we go. Torn medial ligament. Capital torn meniscus. Left knee. Wait, whoa. Hold it. Torn medial ligament. Capital T. Capital M. Comma. Left knee. So there's a parenthetical splice. Another comma. Another capital letter. Torn anterior ligament right knee, comma. That time he got the comma right. Here's another capital T torn AC joint, brackets, capital R right shoulder, comma. Broken nose. ... I could go on. Is that a threat? I could go on, comma. This isn't a list of injuries sustained during a car crash or a fall down the stairs. Okay, right there, what you have is a comma splice. You've got two sentences joined by a comma, and that is a no-no. Don't do it. This is just the injuries I've racked up since I turned 18 and started playing competitive sport. And my accent changed because he said sport instead of sports. The first knee injuries were from squash and basketball. But when you start to throw in the wrestling and football related injuries, especially at the representative level, I don't really know what that means, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, it gets even worse. Which makes me ponder, of course. Okay, this is a sentence fragment. Comma, capital W. Why are we told sport is good for us? I don't know, maybe you're just bad at it, Metal Gear. I have friends, hey, quit bragging. I have friends who avoided sport and now can live happily without visits to their chiropractors on a regular basis. I would have said without regular, here, let me, I would have put the word regular, without regular visits to their chiropractors, and then you don't need all of this. Boom, end of sentence. Friends who have never had to spend a month on crutches or had to pay physiotherapy bills. Another sentence fragment. There's no verb. So we got another Fraggle Rock happening right there. And quite frankly, they seem pretty happy about it! Exclamation point. You instantly lose a letter grade for throwing exclamation points in my face. Now I know, apart from the limps in later age... The limps! It's not really grammatically wrong, but... The limps! Yo, someone's got a case of the limps, y'all. There's a pill for that. Apart from the limps in later... Sorry, everyone. Apart from the limps in later age, the men who play sport are better socialized, healthier, which I think he meant etc., but he didn't use a period, and so that's wrong. And I know I have traveled around the world in team colors myself and had a lot of perks. Huh? Hold on, this sentence is making my brain shrink. Now I know, apart from the limps in later age, the men who play sport are better socialized, healthier, etc. And I know I've traveled around the world in team colors myself and had a lot of perks. It's kind of a run-on sentence. We're gonna go with a big old ROS on that. But I would really like mine not to hurt so much on cold days. We are missing something right here. I don't know what it is. His knees? His limps, maybe? I suppose it is our own fault. Yeah, it is your own fault. Stupid. I played on when I shouldn't have. We all did. Comma. Wait. I played on when I shouldn't have, comma. We all did, comma. Double comma splice right there. I once saw a man get... Oh, God. This is a bad one. Okay, so we got comma splice right here. Comma splice right here. That should be a sentence, another sentence, and another sentence. Not what we have right now. I once saw a man get staples in his head, no anesthetic, at a local amateur rugby game. In 2nd grade! Wait a second. Wait a second here. Hold on a minute. 2nd grade? You once saw a man get staples in his head in the 2nd grade? Is he the coach? Or is it some kind of Billy Madison scenario? Here's another exclamation point for you, although it was 2nd grade, so let's just let him have it. Okay, that's the beginning of a sentence. He wasn't even in the top team in 2nd grade. This is the kind of mentality that we men have. You know what? I don't have any mentality about seeing 2nd graders get staples in their heads. We need to do something physical and aggressive, and sport is better than war. This is a really presumptuous, all this. Like, speaking on behalf of men, you know? Like this, and this is this. Like, you know what? You, dude. Men, we need to test ourselves. And we are told sport is the way to do it. But if I have a son, I have a plan. I will get him to take up yoga. Okay, that doesn't need to be capitalized. Or Zumba. Oh, that does need to be. Oh, you struck out, buddy. Yoga or Zumba at a very young age. Maybe 2nd grade. Make him the only 8-year-old man doing yoga with staples in his head. Here's another capitalization mess up right here. He will be fit, injury-free, and considering the Zumba and the yoga again. Instructors I have dated, he will have himself a much better class of girlfriend. You know what? This guy is a piece of shit. You got paid 3,000 yen to come on here and brag about your girlfriends and also your limps, lest we forget. This guy is a clown. We're just gonna write clown. Guess what, dude? This is worse than I gave Olga a D. I have to give you an F minus. Understand? Back to the 2nd grade for you. But good news, everybody. We're not done yet. Bonus round. Because on February 22nd, which was just a couple days ago, former President Donald Trump, now disgraced, made a statement on the continuing political persecution of, former President Donald J. Trump. There you go, buddy. Let me help you with that. Okay, let me just say something about this. When Trump was president, I never got a chance to critique his writing because he never wrote anything. All he was ever writing was like his signature at the bottom of all his executive orders, which looked like Ramona Quimby signing her name with all those like what you remember how Ramona, did you ever read Beezus and Ramona? She thinks her name should look like that. That's how Trump writes his name. Anyway, he had people writing for him, right? So I never really got to sink my teeth into it, but now I can, since he's not on Twitter anymore. We get to see these long form rants. You guys, I hope there are many more of these because they are gonna be gold. Here we go. This investigation is a continuation of the greatest political witch hunt, which is somehow capitalized. I don't really know why. In the history of our country, which is somehow capitalized. I don't know why. Whether it was the never-ending $32 million Mueller hoax, which already investigated everything that could possibly be investigated. Russia. Marsha. Where there was a finding of no collusion. 2 ridiculous, Crazy Nancy-inspired impeachment attempts where I was found not guilty.
You tried to do the FBI, didn't work!
From here to here is all one sentence. And it doesn't have to be this long. Like, what is all of this? Get your stupid rant out of there. By the way, also, where there was a finding of no collusion, that's actually not true. Crazy Nancy in quotation marks, which he's using quotation marks about something he said. So, like, you don't really need those. Like, someone else could use quotation marks if referring to your use of the phrase Crazy Nancy. And if you're trying to get Crazy Nancy to catch on, I don't know, I'd go back and look at the failure to get Crazy Bernie to catch on. It just never ends. Oh, look. Weak-ass writer uses an exclamation point. And this also all doesn't need to be capitalized. So now, for more than 2 years... should I be reading this in the voice? So now, for more than 2 years, New York City has been looking at almost every transaction I've ever done, including seeking tax returns, which were done by among the biggest and most prestigious law and accounting firms in the U.S. This is really all immaterial. Like, you know what? No one cares how prestigious the law firms were. It's your tax returns. You're responsible for them. Who cares how good the law firm that does them is or is not? When you ask a company to do your taxes, you sign a release saying, this information is accurate to the best of my knowledge, and that makes you responsible for your tax returns, not the company that files your tax returns. You stupid manfant. The Tea Party was treated far better by the IRS than Donald Trump. The Supreme Court should never have let this, quote, fishing expedition happen. Now, here, if you think it's a fishing expedition, you shouldn't be using quotation marks. But they did. This is something which has never happened to a president before. It is, oh sh**, it's a comma splice. It is all Democrat inspired in a totally Democrat location, New York City and state, completely controlled and dominated by a heavily reported enemy of mine, Governor Andrew Cuomo. These are attacks by Democrats willing to do anything to stop the almost 75 million people. He loves to say this. The most votes by far ever gotten by a sitting president. Yeah, maybe by a sitting president, but not the most votes ever gotten, ever. Because I know someone who got more. Who voted for me in the election, an election which many people and experts feel that I won. I agree. I don't care if you agree. Okay, you got an exclamation point right there. He says experts, but like he doesn't cite them. He says many people, but he doesn't cite them. He doesn't say who they are. I know there are people who believe that. Those people are idiots. All right. The new phenomenon of headhunting prosecutors and AGs who try to take down their political opponents using the law as a weapon is a threat to the very foundation of our liberty. I don't even know what he's saying there. Like, that's the prosecutor's job. I'm just going to give you a big old what the f***. That's what is done in third world countries. I think what you meant to say right here was this word? That's the word you usually use. Even worse are those who run for prosecutorial or attorney general offices in far left states and jurisdictions, pledging to take out a political opponent. This is kind of going off on a tangent. That's fascism, not justice, and that is exactly what they're trying to do with respect to me. Except that the people of our, here he goes again, country won't stand for it. Really? Really? You gonna try that again? You moron. In the meantime, murders and violent crime are up in New York City by record numbers. Huh? This is another thing where he just says record numbers and expects us to believe it. But like, you know what? Show me those numbers. I don't know what you're talking about. And nothing is done about it. Our elected officials don't care. All they focus on is the persecution of, oops, former President Donald J. Trump. I will fight on just as I have for the last 5 years, even before I was successfully elected. Despite all the election crimes that were committed against me, we will win! Exclamation point. And by the way, no, you won't. I can't believe you were ever the president, dude, because this is shameful, all right? You get to repeat the 5th grade. That's what you get.